You step outside, and the air hurts. Not stings. Hurts. Every breath feels like your lungs are being scraped from the inside. And before your eyes can even adjust to the dark, your fingers have already started to slow. There is no warm bedroom behind you. No streetlight. No door you can close. Just wind, ice, hunger, and a night long enough to kill an unprepared body before morning. How long would you last? For most of your life, cold has been something you visit. You walk through it. You complain about it. Then you escape into a room where invisible heat flows from walls, vents, wires, and pipes, like a private sun built just for you. But during the Ice Age, cold was not weather. Cold was the world. The most brutal part of that world is often called the last glacial maximum. That means the coldest peak of the Ice Age, around 26,000 to 19,000 years ago, when huge ice sheets locked away water, sea levels fell, and much of northern Europe became open, frozen steppe. Steppe means grassland, not forest, not shelter, just wind crossing land with nothing to stop it. Could your body survive one night there? The answer is probably no. Not because you are weak, because you are unprepared. Your modern body is the same kind of body your ancestors had, but your daily life has trained it to expect help. Your skin expects factory clothing. Your stomach expects stored food. Your sleep expects walls. Your fear expects emergency numbers. An Ice Age night gives you none of that. It asks only one question. Can you keep heat inside a small, fragile animal body until the sun returns? That is the real survival problem. Not the mammoth. Not the wolf. Not hunger at first. The first enemy is heat, leaving you faster than you can make it. Your body is a furnace that burns food. If that furnace loses heat too quickly, your hands shake. Then your thinking slows. Then your judgment breaks. Hypothermia is the word for it. In plain English, it means your core temperature drops so low that your body can no longer run properly. At first, you would shiver. That sounds harmless. It is not. Shivering is your muscles burning energy just to create warmth, and every tremor spends calories you may not be able to replace. Your teeth chatter. Your fingers become clumsy. A knot that should take 2 seconds becomes impossible. A spark that should become fire dies in your hands. And then, the most dangerous thing happens. You start making bad decisions. You might walk when you should crawl into shelter. You might sit when you should move. You might feel strangely calm at the exact moment your body is failing. Would you recognize that in time? Your ancestors survived because they did not treat cold as one problem. They treated it as a system. Clothing was one layer. Fire was another. Shelter was another. Food was another. The group was another. Remove one layer, and the night becomes dangerous. Remove two, and the night becomes a trap. Remove all of them, and a modern person becomes a visitor from a world that no longer exists. Archaeologist Ian Gilligan has studied ancient clothing technology, including bone awls and eyed needles. An awl is a pointed tool used to pierce hides. An eyed needle is a needle with a tiny hole, allowing thread or sinew to pass through. These tools matter because they show that clothing was not just wrapped around the body like a blanket. It could be fitted. Fitted clothing changes everything. Loose skins leave gaps. Wind enters. Warm air escapes. But sewn clothing can trap air close to the skin, and trapped air becomes insulation. Insulation means a barrier that slows heat loss. To survive an Ice Age night, your ancestors needed insulation as much as they needed courage. Now imagine your clothing is wrong. Your jacket is damp. Your shoes are thin. Your gloves are missing. At first, you think you can endure it. Then your hands stop obeying. Then your feet become blocks of pain. Then pain fades, which feels like relief, but is actually a warning. What would you fix first if your fingers could barely bend? The archaeological site of Sungir, near Vladimir in Russia, gives a glimpse of how serious clothing may have been. Sungir is famous for Upper Paleolithic burials. Upper Paleolithic means the later part of the Old Stone Age, when modern humans made advanced stone, bone, and ivory tools. Some people buried there were covered with thousands of mammoth ivory beads. Those beads were not floating in the air. Many researchers interpret their positions as traces of decorated clothing. The fabric and hide are gone, but the beads stayed in place. The pattern suggests garments that covered bodies. Even burial preserved the outline of clothing. Your ancestors were engineers of warmth, building a wearable shelter around the skin. But clothing alone is not enough. Night cold also attacks from below. The ground steals heat from your body faster than air does, especially if it is frozen. If you lie directly on icy soil, your body warms the ground under you, and the ground keeps taking more. You may have a fire in front of you and still lose the fight through your back. That is why bedding matters. Branches, grass, hides, moss, anything that lifts the body away from frozen ground can become the difference between sleep and death. Your mattress is not just comfort. It is survival technology, softened until you forgot what it was for. Now place yourself in an Ice Age camp. The sky is deep black. The moon is pale. The wind slides over open grassland and hits a low shelter made from hides, wood, bone, earth, and whatever the landscape allows. Inside, bodies are close together. Smoke hangs near the roof. Tools sit within reach. Children are buried under layers of hide. Someone wakes to feed the fire before it drops too low. Nobody sleeps the way you sleep. Sleep is broken, watchful, social. A night is shared defense against darkness, cold, predators, and embers. Could you sleep if one mistake might freeze a child beside you? At Dolní Věstonice, in what is now the Czech Republic, archaeologists found one of the richest Ice Age sites in Europe. The site is associated with the Gravettian culture, a way of life from roughly 30,000 to 20,000 years ago, known for mammoth hunting, art, ornaments, and complex camps. Excavations described by Bohuslav Klima helped reveal traces of huts and large accumulations of mammoth bones. Mammoth bones were not just trophies. In places where trees were scarce, large bones could become structure, weight, windbreak, or fuel when soaked with fat. Your ancestors used the local world with terrifying intelligence. They did not ask what materials were supposed to be. They asked what materials could do. At nearby Pavlov I, researchers including J.M. Adovasio, Olga Sofer, and Bohuslav Klima reported evidence of fiber technology. Fiber technology means twisting, weaving, netting, or making cordage from plant or animal materials. In plain English, it means string. String sounds small. It is not. String ties shelters. String fastens clothing. String holds bundles. String turns separate objects into systems. Without string, your hands must do everything alone. With string, a shelter can hold against wind after your hands let go. This is the counterintuitive truth. The Ice Age was not survived by toughness alone. It was survived by tiny details. A stitch, a knot, a dry ember, a sleeping place raised a few inches off the ground, a child placed between warmer bodies. Modern survival stories often imagine one heroic person standing against nature. But your ancestors survived because the lonely person was the weakest possible design. A group could share heat, information, food, tools, and attention. A group could keep a fire alive while one person slept. A group could remember where willow grew, where animals crossed, where storms formed, and which valley killed people last winter. Your brain evolved inside that kind of shared memory, not inside isolation. This is why one night would be so hard. You would not only lack tools, you would lack the trained instincts for using them. You might see a hide and think blanket. Your ancestor would see wind direction, body heat, smoke flow, repair points, and sleeping order. You might see snow and think danger. Your ancestor might see water, insulation, tracks, and warning. Your eyes would look. Their eyes would read. And reading the Ice Age took a lifetime. Food adds another layer. Cold does not just chill you. It taxes you. A body fighting cold burns more energy, and energy has to come from food. But Ice Age food was not a grocery list. It was tracking, cutting, sharing, cracking bones, rendering fat, and not wasting anything. Fat carries dense energy. It helps fuel the furnace. Marrow inside bones, grease from crushed fragments, and fat under skin could become the parts that keep a group alive. Nothing is just disgusting or delicious. Everything is measured against tomorrow morning. Would you know what to save? Then there is fire. Fire is not a button. Fire is a relationship. You feed it, protect it, move it, revive it, carry it as ember if possible. Fire gives warmth, light, cooked food, smoke, predator warning, and morale. Morale means the strength to keep acting when fear says stop. Around fire, a group can repair tools, tell stories, teach children, and turn night from pure threat into a place where the mind can still function. But fire also makes demands. Too little fuel, and it dies. Too much smoke, and it blinds you. An Ice Age fire is not decoration. It is a machine without metal, wires, or switches. Now imagine you arrive after sunset. No trained group, no prepared shelter, no dry tinder, no fitted skins, no stored fat, no knowledge of the land. The temperature drops. The wind rises. Your hands shake. You search for branches, but the landscape is open, and most wood is small, buried, wet, or already gathered by people who knew better. You try to make fire the way videos showed you, but your body is losing heat while you work. The night does not care that you understand the concept. It only cares whether sparks become flame. This is where ancient skill becomes almost invisible. A person born into that world would not wait until crisis to prepare. Clothing repairs happened before tearing became disaster. Fuel was gathered before darkness. Shelters were placed before storm. Food was shared before hunger made people reckless. Children learned danger before they had words for danger. Survival was not one dramatic moment. It was thousands of small, correct actions, performed early. That is why the Ice Age can look simple from far away. Stone tools, animal skins, fire, caves. But from inside the night, every simple thing becomes precise. A stone tool is sharpness planned in advance. An animal skin is scraping, drying, softening, cutting, piercing, sewing, and repairing. A cave is smoke, dampness, animals, exits, echoes, and distance from food. Even a good shelter can kill you if it traps smoke. Even a cave can be dangerous if a bear used it first. There is no object called survival. There is only knowledge attached to objects. Your modern life hides this from you. A wall is already built. A coat is already sewn. Food is already processed. Light appears when your finger moves. Warmth appears without anyone watching a flame. Because the system works so quietly, your body feels independent. But independence is often just dependence you no longer notice. The Ice Age would reveal every hidden dependency at once. That is the real fear. Not that ancient humans were stronger than you. Not that your body is useless. But that your comfort is built from thousands of ancient problems solved so well that they became invisible. Your bedroom is a shelter. Your blanket is Ice Age thinking. Your shoes are a survival boundary between flesh and ground. Your dinner is stored energy. Your phone light is a tiny descendant of fire in the dark. And your need to be near other people when you are afraid is not weakness. It is old knowledge speaking through a modern body. So if you were dropped into one Ice Age night, the question would not be whether you are brave. Bravery would matter, but it would not be enough. The question would be whether you had the layers. The clothing layer, the shelter layer, the fire layer, the food layer, the group layer, the memory layer. Your ancestors had those layers because they were not visiting the Ice Age. They belonged to it. Every scar, tool, song, burial, stitch, and campfire was part of a long answer to the same question your body would face before dawn. Can you keep heat inside a small, fragile animal body until the sun returns? You step outside, and the air hurts. Now you know why that was only the beginning.